Good morning, everyone. You guys look so beautiful, fresh. Our second day of this high frequency gathering. Such a beautiful collective to tap into. I'm just so impressed. I've read a few irises yesterday, and I've never seen a bunch of so healthy irises. Every reading I have to start with, you've got a very strong constitution. Your body is going to heal fast. And I don't know if it's a South Coast versus Joburg thing, or maybe a Spirit Fest versus the normal market, or what it is. But it's been lovely to tap into us as a collective. I couldn't sleep a wink. I was just processing. And I practiced my speech very well, but I'm going to change all of it this morning. So what you get is going to be new to me too. And I thank you for that. Thank you for coming out today. Thank you for giving me your time. It's probably our most precious commodity. So I really respect you sitting here. May you find answers on your journey and integrate it as it suits you. Let go of what doesn't work for you right now and integrate that what works for you. That's the magic of each one of us. So my name is Heleen, Elizabeth Pretorius. I'm a mother of 3 amazing warriors. They are the reason I'm standing here. I wasn't sick. They were struggling. And I had to find answers to help them to cope and to integrate into this life. I said from my middle boy, and from little I said to him, this guy haven't been a human for a long time. I think the previous time he was a human, he didn't experience this much pain. He's not liking this body. And it's just something I said from the start. And I really do believe that. I think he actually integrated a very long time in a human body. And we are not the healthiest version of a human body walking on this planet at the moment. We are actually about 3 or 4 generations post-World War. High process, high protein, high dairy, high fat, high sugar diets. Our parents and grandparents didn't know how to heal, so they conceived us before healing, and we are there now. We've got babies born with cancer. We've got old man diseases manifesting in 30s, 20s even. We are really facing a time that we could see our extinction, which I don't believe we will at all, but there is a possible trajectory that's going there, unless we change it, which is wonderful to get to a answer of how to do cellular regeneration. It's not the only answer. I'm very well aware of that. What I do like about this way of healing is it's very tangible. It's challenging, still challenging, but it's tangible. What you do today, feel tomorrow. You're not wondering about your healing. You can actually trace it. You can look in your own iris and you can see how it changed. It doesn't change overnight, but it does. You know, it's very tangible. And you know, as humans, we like categorizing things, right? So we've got 4 bodies, apparently. We've got a spiritual body, they say. We've got an emotional body, a physical body, and a mental body. It's actually, we're all one, right? And you and I are one as well. We actually sort of know that in the back of our heads as well, but we're still figuring out how that works. So when we do heal on one level of this 4-dimensional body, all the others heal. We know this as well. We've all experienced it, right? We will go on emotional healing courses, and physically we'll heal a lot of things, and mentally things shift in plates, and then we'll go for a spiritual dive, and we see how our emotional body and our mental body like chip in with that healing. The same with physical healing. If we get to heal on a cellular level, we're actually healing a conscious entity. So I'm a host of between 50 and 100 trillion conscious entities, which is my cells. My body exists of cells, all of it. There's some chemistry that is not cells. There's some chemistry my body makes, hormones and neurotransmitters and things. They might not be cells, but it's minuscule. I'm sitting with a body that exists of cells, and each one of them is a conscious entity. So you can see how when you do this kind of healing, your level of awareness raise. You can understand then why it would. Because as a conduit of consciousness, if I am in a healthy state, I'm a much better conduit, am I? If I'm congested and worn down, I'm so busy with trying to heal myself and be nice and cuddle myself and just, give myself some love that you're not able to look up and breathe and connect and integrate and respond. So this is why we want to look at cellular healing. Today I'm speaking about radical cellular regeneration. So I want to start with picking up cellular a little bit. We want to heal on a cellular level because if I can claim I'm a healthy human, it means I'm a host of between 50 and 100 trillion healthy cells. If I can claim that, it means the cells that makes up my liver are all healthy and they deliver a healthy liver. If I've got a healthy liver, a healthy pancreas, a healthy small intestine, a healthy stomach, healthy saliva glands, now I've got a healthy digestive system. If I've got healthy glands and they're all healthy, now I've got a healthy endocrine system. So looking at healing systems is not always the answer. It's going to that building blocks of systems. So if we are cells, what else is in our body? There's two major fluids. There's the lymphatic fluid that makes up 80% of the fluid in your body. It surrounds every cell. So the lymphatic fluid has got the privilege to carry wastes away from the cells. Like the cells, like us, we eat, transmute energy, and we have a waste product. Each cell has the same thing. It eats, transmutes energy, and has a waste product. But my liver cell can't up and go to the loo to do its waste product there. It actually needs the lymphatic fluid to come around, pick it up, and swoosh it away, and preferably help it to exit the body, which is where the key is. We'll get back to that. So this is 80% of the fluids in your body. We don't exist of 70% water, like we were taught. It's about 1% water. We exist of 70 to 80% fluids, if it's in a healthy state. Because in the first state of the lymphatic fluid, it looks like the see-through discharge we have that's watery. That's what you want it to be. You want your cells to swim, to float in a watery, mucousy substance that picks up the waste nicely, brings some immune responses nicely, brings some of the other chemistry in the body nicely and unobstructed. That's what we want. That's first level of the lymphatic fluid. Second level of congestion, this is now when your body is not eliminating well. The lymphatic fluid becomes stickier and stickier and stickier. Forgive the English, but that's when you get to yellow snot. You know how yellow snot looks like? That's thick and difficult to get out. Now imagine that surrounding every cell of your body. As that cell is going to be 100% healthy. They're not, And the worst part is the waste that's carried by this lymph has a pH of 3 or lower. This is very acidic. What a baby's bottom look like? That's what your cells start looking like. Third level is when it goes into brown. Now it goes even almost like dry snot. When you have to pick your nose and take out the boogers, that's now what's surrounding your cells. So now you're sitting in a sweet spot where you don't look ill. You don't never have flu. Oh, I haven't had flu for 20 years. If you live in Joburg and you don't have flu in the winter, I'm worried about you. There's a lot of toxins that your body needs to respond to that's coming in daily. You need to have a wet nose. How many dogs are healthy when they have wet noses? How many humans are healthy when you have wet noses? Something to think about, no? You don't want a sticky, dried out, dehydrated lymphatic fluid. That's when your organs there's nothing even to catch their waste. It's just literally they are drowning in their own wastes. The other major fluid is blood. So that's only about 20% of the fluids in our body, and that's the kitchen, right? It brings us the nutrients and the oxygen. So this blood with the nutrients and oxygen won't be able to reach the cells if it is surrounded by dried out lymph. So there's that thing of, it's a double whammy. Waste is not being removed and access is not granted either. So what do? We'll get to that. Okay, I'm just mentioning nerve. Our body does not respond without nerve. Every cell has its nerve that does dynamic movement for that cell. If the islets of Langerhans cells of the pancreas need to produce insulin, it will not produce insulin if the nerve is not there to tell it to do so. So if your nerve system is weak, your adrenals are weak, and you've been born with hula hoops in your eyes, that shows your nerve rings, that shows that your parents' adrenals was already low, and you were now receiving a weaker nervous system. You know where that nerve ring is sitting in your eye. That's where your body is not responding that well. That is when things start not happening as it should. So nerve is huge. It's electricity in our body. It's a big part of our personality. If you've got jittery nerves, how do you respond to the world? In a jittery way. So many people perceive different people in a personality way. Your emotional body are very much influenced by the nerve quality of the nerve strength of your body. It's another reason why focusing on a cellular level is really helpful. We've built ourselves a crazy society, guys. I don't believe we are victims as much. I believe we are the creators of it. We're the ones sitting with the power of making decisions, where we put our money, where we put our investments, where we put our time, where we turn our backs and pretend it's not there. You know, we've got a lot of biological, small molecular poisons that we've designed in our society. So if you're going to go into each one of those, which is only like one slide, I can probably do 20 slides of what's around us, right? Each one of those, if you're going to now go and, okay, what am I going to do to protect myself against air pollution? Okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take this, I'm going to do this. What do I do to protect myself against electromagnetic frequency? Okay, I'm going to do this. You're going to be busy doing things and you're going to have to figure out how they work with each other, how they respond in your body. I mean, we don't have time to figure that out. Why not trust your body? Why not trust that we've got this amazing electromagnetic frequency, biological, I don't want to say machine because it's not a machine, but a machine. It works like a machine, guys. If our elimination system works and our lymphatic fluid are able to drain through our elimination organs successfully, bring it on. Bring it on. I'll prove to you how your body discharges within 24 to 48 hours. I believe it with my whole heart. Everything I researched to date proves it to me. Everything I've experienced to date proves it to me. I'm on my third 6-month detox since the last 5 years, since I was introduced to this protocol. This is my third 6-month detox. I'm 1 month in with 40 other people that joined me. And every time, it's proven to me physically in my face. I'm seeing how my skin has changed within 30 days. There's no way you can tell me it's not happening. This machine is insanely incredible. We just need to get it to the place where it functions the way it was designed to function. And it's not a lifetime sentence to be on this protocol forever and ever and ever, and you can never ever have your bean curry again. You can never ever have your meat again. You can actually with a healthy body. A healthy body can do anything. If you're going to do it daily, you're going to just go again. But if you do it every now and then, bring it on. Bring it on. It's just getting to that place where we have a healthy body. So this is one I think this crowd is very well aware of. It's not something I really need to read even, but it's true. That what we put in our mouth always has an effect. Either good or bad, very seldomly neutral. Very seldomly neutral. It's either good or bad. And you decide, you've got the power. And after this, you'll have more knowledge and probably build on that knowledge and how to apply that. So what does a cell need to be healthy? So listen, we're still doing radical cellular regeneration. At the moment, we're looking at why cellular. So let's see, how do we get, no, first question. What do we need to keep a cell healthy? What do we need to keep a baby healthy? It's easy, no? Some love, some sunshine, some nice food, nutrients, breast milk, hopefully. Healthy, alkaline breast milk, otherwise it also becomes a problem. And it needs to have its bum cleaned. Not just its bum, its body cleaned. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem, right? It's exactly what life needs on this planet to be alive and to be healthy. It's very simple. Every cell can rejuvenate itself if it's got the nutrients, the minerals, sunlight, water, love. It's that simple. Now, how do we get nutrition to the cell? Is it as easy as putting something in my mouth and we're guaranteed our cell is going to eat of this? Is it that easy? It's actually quite complex. Not complex, it's simple still, but there's a few steps your body needs to have in place to actually get it right, to deliver it successfully to the cell. This body is like a food processor. It's got 4 processes to this food processing. Firstly, it's going to digest, break things down into usable parts. Then it has to absorb successfully. Otherwise, it just simply doesn't go into the system. And then it has to be able to utilize. This is a big one that's overseen a lot of times. I'm going to spend some time on this one. And then it has to eliminate successfully. Have you ever bought a food processor and you can't clean it? How long are you going to use it? Maybe 4 times in the same day. You can push it to 6 times and then you're going to have to throw it away. Same thing. We're going to have to be able to eliminate if we want to be healthy. So let's look at each of them. Digestion. Yesterday at my talk, I did touch on this a little bit. We've got an alkaline and acidic digestive process. Alkaline digestive process starts in the mouth with the enzymes in the saliva. It responds to simple structured food, which is all your live foods. Plants, that's live. Not your dormant plants in seed form or nut form. Your live plants, all your fruits, most of your vegetables. This is simple structured food. Starches is technically a simple structured food, but the effect of it on your body is not as positive as the rest of the plant family out there. When you eat these kind of food by themselves, the enzymes in your saliva mix with it. The more you chew, the better it mixes, the better more enzymes you deliver to the food. It goes down to your stomach. Your stomach is a holding bag. Doesn't do anything else. It sits there and it does its thing. The enzymes is doing its thing. And as it's broken down, it is hopefully going to the next step, which is absorption. That is the alkaline digestive process. There's very little energy lost if you think about that. The acidic digestive process needs to kick in when you eat complex structured food. This is food that doesn't exist just of plant salts, like the fruit does. It exists of fat solubles and minerals and amino acids and all these different kind of category of molecules, if you want to call it that, and it's a complex structure. So your body can't do anything with it until it's broken down. So now you're going to chew. If you chew it by itself, if you have complex structure by itself with no simple structure, if you have it by yourself, you eat it, it's going to mix still with your saliva, so you're losing exactly the same amount of energy you would have on chewing other food. It's going to go to your stomach, and the stomach wall is going to be like, woo, 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 all systems alert, all systems alert. We've got one. We've got a complex structure over here. Stomach and the small intestine work together, creating pepsin and hydrochloric acid, enough to actually break the volume down because we can eat big steaks now. So a lot of it needs to come, break the volume down. Now, this is acidic. This is the most acidic part of your body. The only organ that can deal with it is the bowel to an extent. If you wear it out every meal, every day, the bowel is also not going to make it. Now, your liver and your pancreas both have to create bicarb and bile to alkalize this acidic chyme before it reaches your small intestines. Otherwise, it ulcerates, it burns. Okay, so that's 4 organs that lost energy. When you eat, to utilize energy when you eat, right? This is why we eat. We want to bring energy into the body. But now you're costing yourself so much energy. This now needs to be so you're losing half, maybe 3/4 of the energy that you just ingested, you lose to the actual process to digest it. So now this needs to be remembered. Can the pancreas and the liver continue producing the amount of alkalizing enzymes you need for the big steaks you're eating? No. Not chronically, not the way we do it in South Africa or in Texas maybe. I think those are the two biggest culprits. It can't. So that will also be worn down eventually, and that's when the digestive system really starts breaking down. So when you're eating, it's extremely important to consider these factors and choose your food accordingly. I'm going to touch on this again a little bit later. Absorption. So this is the finger-like villi and the inside of your small intestines. They're literally little fingers like this, and mechanically they get so weighed down from heavy mucus around them, they literally start withering like this. Now they can't suck up the nutrients as they were supposed to and spit out in the system behind them. They mechanically simply can't. This is a classic example of celiac disease that is nerve-based. So celiac disease is literally when the nerve in those fingers is not operating. It's literally lying limp like this. You can eat as much as you want, as many healthy things as you want. It's simply gonna leave your body. Absorption is extremely important. There's something like a mucoid plaque. Has anyone heard of that? I didn't know about it either. I was on my third 28-day detox of this kind. Just got rid of gluten like forever. This was like, that's it, guys. We had our last pizza, we had our last bread. This is now it. We're moving on. And about 3 weeks later, for 24 hours, I'm like, yo, I don't know what's happening. I'm car sick. I'm like, yo, I'm not sick enough to go lie down, but I'm not feeling the best. Day later, I'm losing my intestine. I'm like, oh my God, my mom is right. I'm overdoing it. I just went too far. I've just lost my intestine. There's no pain, but I just lost something that's 6 foot tall when it's lying in the toilet. And I'm panicking a bit. And I'm starting to Google, and thank goodness Google had answers. It turns out to be my mucoid plaque. This is a mucus lining that your body develops to actually protect your intestines from abrasive food and acidic food. Now, can you imagine? It looked like a translucent black-gray brain when you look at it. It's like, it was insane to see it. I was so blessed to have it happen like that. Many people lose it in pieces in their normal stool. They won't even know they're losing it. I wouldn't have known it existed if that didn't happen to me. Universe knew I'm doing this, right? It's going to bless me with what I need to do this. So you can imagine now how your absorption is limited if you have this mucoid plaque. And you're guaranteed to have it, especially if you still have grains, not just gluten, grains. Grains is very abrasive some of them are healthy enough for you to every now and then bring it into your life for the other health properties it's got. But if you're going to live on grain every day, meals, integrated, this is too abrasive for your system. Your system is going to have to protect itself against it. Next one is utilization. So this is quite a mouthful. I can do a whole 2-hour talk on this one. I'm going to condense it a little bit for you. This is all about hormone balancing. This is where this comes in. All the chemistry in our body is based on our endocrine glands. And in the East, it's called chakras. In the West, it's called glands. If you go into the understanding of what the East understand of chakras and what the West understand of glands, they are so closely related, it's actually quite insane. I always like to say, the chakras is the most physical part of your spiritual body, and the glands is your most spiritual part of your physical body. So that's where the two hardwire into each other. The chakras receive electromagnetic life force, and they signal it to the glands. The glands translate it into biochemistry. So all the chemistry that's produced by the glands, like enzymes, which is huge. So what happens if the doctor tells you you're iron deficient? Go get a supplement. Why are you iron deficient? Do you know how much iron is in the Western diet? Why on earth are you iron deficient? Why don't they ask that question? You know why you're iron deficient. The modern man walking this planet has low functioning adrenals. How many of you have had low blood pressure your whole life? Just have a look. Look at the lands. And I promise you the rest sitting here just didn't know. And most of the high blood pressures are a result of low blood pressures. Reason being the adrenals are so low blood pressure, the top reading, systolic reading, is showing in the functioning of your adrenals. So when your adrenals is low from birth, you've got a deficiency in enzymes. One of these 52 enzymes that the adrenals produce is the glove that your cell needs to use iron. One of them is the enzyme your cell needs to use zinc, to use copper, to use manganese, to use magnesium, name it, 52 minerals are only utilized by your cell if there is that glove, that the cell can grab the glove, the enzyme, and then the iron can come through. This is utilization. The thyroid and parathyroid are very seldomly spoken about. The parathyroid produces a parathyroid hormone, which is the glove for calcium. So now you're calcium deficient, what do? You take more calcium, and usually it is a soil-based calcium. Oh my God, humans eating soil, imagine. Plants eat soil, guys. Get rid of your soil-based supplements. Use herbs. It's got everything you need. Wholesome supplementation. It's got the magnesium, it's got everything you need in there. Get rid of the isolated, man-made, soil-based minerals. So now you take more calcium. And now you don't have enough of the parathyroid hormone. What happens to that calcium? It mixes with the excess phosphorus. And you want that to happen in your bone matrix. That's how you build bones. You don't want that to happen in your kidneys. That's a stone. You don't want it to happen in your gallbladder. That's a stone. You don't want to make it happen. I had this huge burns growth here thingy-majiggy. How many has growth spurt, like bone spurts? That is the excess calcium that doesn't go anywhere. It's not getting eliminated because your kidneys are not filtering. And it's not being absorbed by the cells because you don't have enough parathyroid hormone. So utilization is a hugely overlooked is the right word, overlooked part of getting nutrients to the cell. So look how beautifully it works. The glands are our operating system. It literally governs the rest of the body because it makes sense, right? As endocrine glands, it produces chemistry for the rest of the body. Exocrine glands like the pancreas produce chemistry for its own functions. But it's also an endocrine gland, and the endocrine gland produces chemistry for the rest of the body. So the pituitary gland is a pea-sized gland, and it's governing the hypothalamus. So it governs your whole nervous system. Pea-sized gland. It also produces the chemistry for most of your other glands to actually work. We all know about the thyroid stimulating hormone produced by the pituitary. Without it, the thyroid won't produce T3s. It needs a hormone to ovulate. You need a hormone to create a baby. All of that needs hormones from the pituitary glands to chemistry to be produced that the others need to receive successfully, translate successfully because they're not congested and worn down. They can actually translate it, and then they'll start producing the chemistry you need. Huge little thingy sitting there in your head. Huge, 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 huge. And it's our crown chakra. We're connected to the crown chakra. Next one is our pineal gland, a little bit further in the head, eyebrow height. Definitely influence our eyesight as well as our dream space, of course, our vision and other dimensions. It helps you sleep, melatonin that needs to be produced by it. So indirectly, it's a huge energy center. Then you've got your thyroid, parathyroid, throat chakra. Thyroid governs the skin, your biggest elimination organ. Your fevers is governed by the temperature, is governed by the thyroid. Many enzyme actions can't take place if you're too hot or too cold. So it plays a huge role in also making enzymes happening and the utilization process happening. Thymus gland, they actually know very little of. They've connected it to our immune system. So it's almost like the general of our immune system. That's where fighter cells mature. It doesn't respond if the pituitary gland doesn't instruct it to respond. Heart chakra. Pancreas is our digestive organ in the solar plexus, digestion of life. It's governing the digestive process. Ovaries and testes is your sacral chakra, reproduction, and the sexuality part of your personality. This is literally determined by chemistry produced by your body. That's why it can be changed by chemistry that you put into your body. And then the adrenals and kidneys, your root chakra. The adrenals are right on top of the kidneys. People actually can't make their mind up. What is the most important? The master computer, It's attached to the hypothalamus or the adrenals attached to the kidneys. They produce enzymes for deficiencies for utilization, like I said. They produce neurotransmitters like adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine. If they're weak and you start lacking in that, that's when now there's a lack in your electricity. They're skipping a beat. The neurotransmitters are for your nervous system what the blood is for the circulatory system. It's the in Afrikaans, it's funk. It's the spark. It's the spark that makes your electricity actually happen. So if there's a deficit of neurotransmitters your whole life and you don't know how to heal it, so that deficit is growing and growing and growing, of course you're going to sit with a weak nervous system later on in your life, a high blood pressure, because it produces steroids. Steroids fight inflammation. So if there's not enough, now we have got so much inflammation because we eat 95% acid ash forming food in the first place. Even strong adrenals would have had trouble to produce enough of the steroids to combat that. But now you're sitting with weak adrenals, definitely not enough steroids. So your liver now starts producing cholesterol. Your body leached calcium because that's also an alkaline mineral. It used water retention to buffer anything, to just buffer the burn away from its babies. Its babies is getting burned. Let's just do something about it. No? So it's huge. And then, of course, hormones is another one that the adrenals produce, which is also a huge topic by itself. And then the last one, elimination. There's two kinds of waste removal. Your digestive waste removal, which is the common sense one. You eat, most of the material that's not been used is going through your small intestines, eventually to the colon, and it leaves your body. Some of us have trouble having that happen, but most of us are on the place where it does happen, hopefully on a daily basis. And then there's cellular metabolic waste, which I spoke of earlier, your 100 trillion cells that eats, transmutes, and poops. And it needs to have that poop removed by the lymphatic fluid. And it needs to successfully go to the kidneys and skin and be eliminated. This is where man's problem is. I've only met 2 humans whose kidneys was filtering when I met them, and I've helped almost 1,000 humans by now, hands on me, helping them, being a witness of their journey, walking with them. And only 2 of them started out with kidneys that was filtering. It took me about 4 months to get my kidneys to filter. Can take some people up to a year to get their kidneys to filter. I would say about 70 to 80% takes up a few weeks. They're the lucky ones. Few weeks they get their kidneys to filter. Then we celebrate, happy dance, healing 101, we've got it, our kidneys are filtering. We're actually letting go of a lifetime of, shall I use that word? Shit. Forgive me. My daughter was here, she would have not been happy. But yeah, imagine what a big moment that is if your body actually starts letting go of all the crap that you've built up your whole lifetime. Can you imagine the emotional healing of those cells actually going like, thank goodness, hey? What a moment to get that done. It's really, really a reason to dance. Happy dance, light the fire. We're doing this, you know, we are going there, we are getting there. Okay, let's go on. The best kept secret of medicine is that the body heals itself if we create the right condition and stop doing the things that cause the sickness in the first place. Nothing happens to you. You don't get cancer because this and this and this. You've given yourself the cancer. I'm sorry. It hurts, I know. You've given yourself everything. If your child is sick, you've given it to your child. I'm sorry. It's not nice. It was a big one for me to deal with. But yeah, that is the truth. Okay, so we've covered cellular. What's my time? Okay, I'm gonna rush a little bit. I hope you stay with me. So let's talk about regeneration. Radical cellular regeneration, remember? We spoke about how to get nutrients to the cell, how to make sure they stay clean so that we've got happy cells. First step. Second thing, we want to regenerate as a host of 100 trillion cells. We now want to go into regeneration. How do we do it? We alkalize. Can't get the kidneys to filter if the lymph that surrounds the kidney cells are not starting to alkalize. That is actually what's getting your kidneys to filter, is by alkalizing yourself in a inner space. Detoxify, you need some extra help. We've got chemistry that's in our body that shouldn't be there. We've got parasites that shouldn't be there. We've got stuff that needs a little bit of extra help to get out. And the last one is energize, which is that absorption, utilization, digestion. We need to energize. You need to think of the food of your energy a little bit different. The energy of your food a little bit different. Quickly touching on this again, remember we spoke about alkalinity and acidity. If you want to alkalize in the inner environment, it's not so important to know if the food type before digestion was acidic or alkaline. That's like intrinsic. What you need to look at is what digestive process are you instigating and what ash is left by the food after digestion. Those two are the ones that either renders you more alkalized after a meal or more acidic after a meal. We can handle acids. We have to handle acids. We need acids. Phosphorus is an acid. Without phosphorus, I would be jelly. We need phosphorus. But you don't want phosphorus to be 80, 90% of your constitution. You want it to be like 15, 20%. So you need to find that balance, you know. Most live plants have the perfect balance, funnily enough. As when we start working with all the isolates and all the funky food that's not really supposed to be our food, that's when things get out of whack, that you need to like compensate for it. And then food combinations is huge. If you eat a bean curry, you've got beans and rice, complex structure, and you've got vegetables, simple structure. What happens now? You've got this two thing happening. Long story short, the acid enzymes nullifies the alkaline enzymes. So the vegetables you've eaten, you might rather shouldn't have eaten because now it's going to ferment and it creates alcohol and sugar. You don't want that. Now you're feeding the fungi and you're hurting your liver. I think the biggest problem out there is people that hate fruits, eat it, combine it wrong, and they literally write off their liver with alcohol. There's one guy that got locked up for drunk driving without having a sip of alcohol. He had watermelon after his oats, and he got locked up for drunk driving. He had that much alcohol in his body. So there's people that go like, oh, you can't eat fruit, you're going to write off your liver. I did it, I know. And it's literally just because they combined it with other food. So you need to be clever about it. You need to learn a few basics. Sorry, not a nice one, but a true one. Heavy metals, chemical deposits, macro and microparasites, and then modern man has got nanoparticles to deal with. Bring it on, I say. If I'm healthy and my cells are swimming and they're not sticking together and they receive nutrients, they're strong enough to kick whatever's butt. You're not me. Get going. You're not me, I'm not you. Go. Go, go, go. Elimination process, immune system, come. I need some help here. Get rid of this bully. That's how easy it is. This is where we bring in the botanicals to help us get rid of some of the parasites. Symbiotic relationships exist between us and parasites, especially the microparasites. You need fungi if you eat wrong. If you eat and have got fermentation and complex sugars, you need fungi. You don't want to eradicate your fungi. You're going to get obese. And if people prick you, it's going to be fungi running out of there. It's not what you want. If you don't want to change your lifestyle, leave the microorganisms. Don't do bicarb. I mean, I can clean my toilet with bicarb, guys. We can't swallow it. Do you know what a microbiome is in here? Now you want to use a toilet cleaner and think it's only going to kill what? How does it know to pick the good guys and the bad guys? Tell me again. Plants have intelligence. I'm liking to think that. They've got a consciousness, but isolated minerals, I don't want to say they don't have a consciousness. Everything does, right? But it's much denser. I don't know if it's got the intelligence to deal with good microbes, bad microbes. You don't want to hurt your microbes. You need them. Energize. You can work on stimulating energy. That is where most of us operate. We actually stimulate our glands so that it produces more of the dopamine and the chemistry we want so that we can feel better. And whoops, up we go. And what do we need? Stimulated food. What do we need? Stimulating food. And there we go. That's our energy cycle. Whoopie-woo, we've got energy. No. There's another one where you get your cells to be healthy 100 trillion of them being healthy, fully charged, robust, resilient. You can go run marathons without eating a thing. You have to eat sometime. I'm not saying you don't have to eat, but you've got so much energy, you can actually pull off a marathon without eating. You'll have enough energy. That is a sweet spot, eh? That's when you're in that place where you're aware, you're awake, you're like responding, you're integrating, you're meeting 50 people in one session, and you remember their names and you remember their children's names, and you, wow, it's like a space to be, you know. It's lovely. Okay, so when you want to energize, you need to look at the energy of your food. Yesterday as well, I touched on this. They've taught us to count calories. So what do they do to get to that? They take a piece of food, apple, broccoli, steak, they burn it with fire, and then they measure the ash, and they go like, oh, this is the energy of food, guys. They must think we're monkeys, eh? Like, seriously, where is there a flame in my stomach that has any response like that to food? Not at all. We've got a chemical process happening. So you're going to have to look at a different way of looking at the energy of food. So this is Kirlian photography. It can take the energy print of any object, not just food, any people, whatever. That's an apple. That's a raw piece of meat. It could have been a bean, a dormant bean. A bean would look the same. It would have a little bit of light, and when you cook it, then it's got very little light. The same with the steak. This is the electromagnetic energy that's delivered to your body. And I am an electromagnetic being. I don't know about you, but I am an electromagnetic being. It means that we need electromagnetic fuel. So this is how you do it. Fruits are by far superior to this. If you look at the difference between fruits and vegetables, you can look at the difference between organic fruits versus non-organic fruits. It's always a difference. If you want to shine, your food must shine. It must be live foods to shine. Oh, I've skipped that a little bit. You need to check at the energy it takes to digest. We spoke about that a few times now. You need to look at what digestive process you're instigating. And then you need to look at the ash that it leaves, because your body has to deal with that ash. It's going to cost your body energy to deal with that ash. And wherever that ash has not been dealt with, those cells are paying. They are being smothered with chemistry or whatever that they don't want. Humans are so disconnected from reality that they need studies to prove that eating raw fruits and vegetables is healthy. So let's touch on radical. Where does the radical element comes in? I'm just going to take off my jacket. Give me a moment. Okay, radical. What is the most ancient diet of humans known to us? It's quite funny. You can take any religion. Oh, well, I can't say I've taken all religions. I've taken plenty. And I went like, where do you come from? Where do you come? Rewind, rewind, rewind. Somewhere down the line, you're going to get to humans that eat fruits. You know, Eastern philosophy started with breatharians, then waterians, fruitarians, vegetarians, omnivore. There needs another one. We've now carnivores as well. I've met a few meat-eating humans that doesn't eat anything else. So that needs to be added. Garden of Eden. Even if you believe we come from scum and developed into a fish and eventually a monkey, there was fruits somewhere down the roots of being human. Survival 101. How do you know what to eat if you don't know what to eat? You follow the thing that looks the most like you. I think that's the best advice anyone can give anyone, really. You can ask a 3-year-old, who do we look like? I know I sometimes look like a lion. But that's just the hair. There's nothing else that resembles a lion in me. Don't know about you guys. You must show me your teeth. I don't look like a dog or a chicken. I don't have the tools to deal with roots and bones. I don't have the small intestine, short intestines, because if you've got long intestines and you deal with protein, it doesn't ferment, it putrefies, it frots. You know, you smell your people having after a big meal. You smell them. Eh? You're like, yes, you frot there. Dying inside. What's happening there? That's what happens if that stuff gets stuck in your intestine. We don't have that. We don't have the ability to deal with it constantly. A healthy body can, once every blue moon. But if you're going to have it every day, oh my goodness gracious, you mustn't come to me. My poor kids say, if they feel sick, I'm like, what did you have yesterday? Yeah, your problem. I'm probably quite harsh in that relations, but I feel like I have to feel the consequences of their choices. So yeah, we look like frugivores, guys. There's no way of denying it. If we've got exactly the same digestive process. We've got low hydrochloric acids. We've got the same tools. We've got fingers, nimble fingers. We can get onto our legs to reach places. This is what we have been designed as. And you can fight against it until you try it and you heal on it and you experience it and you stop fighting against it. Because I haven't seen anyone engage with fruits properly that do not harvest the promises of this protocol. The only ones that sickles is especially the older Afrikaans males. And the reason is there's so much emotional healing that happens when you heal on a cellular level, they don't have the tools to deal with it. They go like, fuck, I'm going crazy. I'm out of here. Don't talk to me. Delete my number. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. They do not have the ability to deal with it. My heart breaks for them when it happens. And that's literally the only people that engage with this protocol that gives up if they engage with it properly. So, could eating like our ancestors make us healthier? You're going to have to try and find out. So there's ways of self-analyzing you. I am also a detox coach. I love taking people through online experiences where they get to, I share everything I know with them in a kind of playful way, I hope, sort of videos and articles. It's not this structured thing. It's quite full on. Some people feel a bit overwhelmed. Other people, that process of researching themselves is like, oh, give me more, can't get enough of it. So it's sort of somewhere there that could work for you. In this time, I teach you how to self-analyze yourself, how to check if your kidneys are filtering. You urinate in a glass jar. First thing in the morning is the best time to do it. In about an hour, you check it with your eyes. Might wear your glasses if you need glasses, but works. Do you see your lymph in your urine? Is it cloudy? Is it murky? Is there snot, little thingies drifting around, sand grails? What is there? If it's clear apple juice, not filtering. That's how easy that is. You don't need anyone's help. Blood pressure analysis, a little bit more mathematical. You're going to have to focus a little bit and just listen it out and try it a few times. It's a bit confusing, but you get it eventually. Systolic reading is the top one, which is the function of your adrenals. You want that to be 120, but the catch is the bottom reading, which is your kidneys, diastolic, needs to be 60, not 80. And when it's 80 or higher, it actually pushes up the top one and inflates it. So you think you're healthy on 120 on 80, but if you actually adjust it to 60, you're all of a sudden sitting with 100. And that's quite low. There's people sitting here that's got 80, 90 on the top reading. Yes, that's low energy, guys. I take my hat off for these guys. I mean, to smile, I don't even know. And they do it, eh? They learn to live with it. When they go on the diet, they've got quite a tough thing because their energy levels go really low because everything deflates. So their adrenals are not stimulated to do enough, or the neurotransmitters produced is not the level that they used to when it was congested. So they go into this window period where they actually have even less of the energy-giving chemistry, and then healing from there, they start building their dynamic energy. So it's a period that they need support, and that's where the herbs comes in as well. Iridology. I've looked into some of your eyes already. What a privilege. Something that we need to learn as a child, to learn what our iris looks like. quickly, no, I'm running out of time. You're missing out on that story. So this is how the eyes are mapped. In my online detox, I share this chart with you. I talk about it. I'm motivating you to actually start looking in the mirror yourself, finding the spots. If you send your picture for me, the picture of your iris, I actually video where I show you with a pen how I'm doing your iris so you can get to know the spots and the spaces in your eye, so you can keep your eye on it and see how it changes as you heal. It's beautiful. I used to have green eyes, but let's get to that. There is just to look at it a little bit. You see this bottom right one, the circles, there's nerve rings. So you've got that hula hoops, you've got nerve rings, which means your nervous system was weak from birth. It heals. I used to have 6, I now have 3 left. So it heals. Your nervous system heals. The top right, you see that blotches, that brown blotches, that's chemical deposits. And it's quite big ones, those. It influence organs there. If that is a left eye on the top right there, it's sitting right on the heart. Huge chemical deposit right on the heart. You don't want a chemical deposit there. The bottom one, you see the blue and the brown? The brown is that part of the body that is completely congested in the 3rd level of congestion. And the rest of the body not. Either that or a huge chemical deposit, which you then find out as you journey. There's no such thing as a green eye. I used to have a green eye. Well, I thought it was a green eye. There's only blue irises, hazel and brown. And then you get your lymph that's like clouds on top of your planet. So if I've got a blue iris and I've got 2nd level lymph, which is yellow, you've got a green eye. And that changes as you heal. So I do live iridology readings today at my stall. You guys are welcome to come sit. It's a big difference between a live reading where I just use my eye to check what I see in your eye. I can tell you your top major things. But if you send me your eye and we make it big on the laptop like that and I put the chart on top of it, now we're getting into detail much. It's very, very intricate. It's a beautiful science. Detox specialist, online coach, transformational speaker. That's me. This is the programs I do online. It'll be lovely to have you guys on board. 28-day detox is an introductory workshop that gives you everything you need. And then I've got longer standing periods where people want more support. We're now busy with our solstice to solstice, which runs every year from winter to summer, sun. 6-month detox. We've got 3-month detox, more specialized lymphatic drainage, heavy metal, chemical deposit removal. Brain, nerve, and circulation is another focused one. These are all the online programs running that you can take part of. Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful.